So, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Laxina. Good evening, Quarenta. Good evening, Abdurrahim. Good evening, P. Great to see you. And you too, Manji. It's lovely to have you. Yeah, let's see, Abdurrahim. What I was saying is try to learn groups of words that commonly go together, and then try and string those together. Good evening, Vitali. Good evening, Count. Great to have you as well. Yeah, happy Easter to all of you. Okay, so we're going to do what we were doing the other day, and we're going to continue with it. Good evening, Roland, as well. Okay, it's great to have you. And Lukash, great to have you as well. Wow, lots of people, that's wonderful. So I hope you've all been having a good time, and I hope you all get a few days off. I'm sure in many places the bank holiday is tomorrow. I'm sure in the UK bank holiday Monday, very definitely. I think so. I'm not sure. To me, the date of Easter seems really strange because they work it out as a certain number of days after the full moon. Sounds very pagan to me. Okay, good evening for Learn. Great to have you. Anne, Princess, good evening. Wonderful to have you. Okay, so yes, we've said the hellos, and now let me put this in position. Good evening, Abdesalam. Good evening, and good evening, Manisco, as well. Great to have you. And TW. Yes. Okay, so any second this is going to start and the screen's going to move for me, I hope. Okay, yes, that's wonderful. So this was about time poverty. There's also evidence that time poverty raises, advocates, hastens, endorses, promotes unhealthy eating habits and decreased exercise, and that those who are time poor experience much lower levels of well-being. So let's see. We've already got some answers. Vitali for promotes, Lax for raises, Counts goes for promotes, and we're going to have a rash of answers any second now. Okay, hi Vibes, great to have you. Good timing. So it's wonderful to have you all here. Promotes, I love that Z in it. And Manji, so Vibes and Manji go for promotes, and Valentine goes for endorses. This is starting to get interesting. And Mudasa for raises, Vibes for promotes with an S this time, Action, so Quarenta for raises, and good evening Pablo from Paraguay. Okay, and Roland goes from promotes as well. Okay, so let's look at some of these words while we're waiting. Good evening Williams, great to have you as well. And greetings GW, and Princess goes for promotes, and movable feast. Yeah, it's a movable feast. It's always at different days every year. Okay, endorse, to advertise. Maybe, I'm not very happy with that. I'll go into endorse. So, yo Leffy, great to have you as well. TW for promotes, and for learn goes for promotes as well. Let's see, to endorse means to support something, to say that you think it's a good thing. Yeah, so I guess the company endorsed the new government policy. Why even are the keys S and Z so near? Okay, yes, well, yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened to Vibes. So to endorse, you can also endorse, you can endorse a check, you can write something on it, but that's to effectively to give your approval of something. Yeah, and time poverty doesn't approve anything. Yeah, okay. So to raise unhealthy eating habits. I don't think time poverty actually raises anything. Um, let's see, to raise, to increase would be better. Time poverty increases, yeah, but not very good. Endorse, approve, etc. Sanction. Yes, that's very good because we've got that double meaning of sanction. Okay, and P goes for promotes and then advocates. VG's playing truant at the moment. I'm sure he'll be here, Leffy. Okay, let's see, to advocate. Again, to advocate is like this, endorses, to recommend. So I advocate doing this, yeah, and I don't think time poverty advocates anything. Normally a person or a policy or a code advocates some sort of thing. Raise the level of. That's better. That's very good. I like that, Farah Princess. There's also evidence that time poverty raises the level of unhealthy eating habits. That's very good. I like that. Thank you. You're all as thick as thieves. That's brilliant, Leffy. I love it. So, hasten. To hasten means to make something go faster. And clearly this is not making it go faster. It's not easy to tell what is a verb and what is a noun in the second half of the sentence. Okay, I will look at that in a second. Okay, so to promote, promotes. Well, I haven't written it in capitals. Promotes. So it promotes. It makes it more likely. Yeah, is a contronym. You can sanction something or you can get sanctioned for not doing it. Raises decreased exercise. Doesn't make sense, does it? Raises the lessening of exercise, I would probably say. Yes. Okay, so there's also evidence that time poverty promotes unhealthy eating habits and decreased adjective exercise, and that those who are time poor experience a verb much lower levels of well-being. That those who are time poor experience have much lower. Okay, yes. And yes, Bojo is banned from Russia. I'm waiting for them to ban Bojo from London, BJ. I think that would be much better, or to ban him from the House of Commons. Yeah? We'll see. Good evening, Emin. Great to have you. Okay, so let's try the next one when we're ready. Yeah. Time poverty creates barriers for people who want to explore their interests outside of obligatory responsibilities, like work or family care, says Villegas. When people live with time poverty, they often miss out on, evade, get out of, get around, give the slip to leisure activities that can support quality of life. Okay, so we've got miss out on for Vitali, for Vibes, for Valentine, and for Lax, and for Manji as well. Okay, so, and for Quarenta as well. So let's look at some of these. What's to give the slip to? And Lukash says miss out on as well. Okay, so notice miss out, intransitive, to miss out on something. And miss out on for count and for TW as well. So somebody was following me and I managed to give them the slip. Okay, so miss out on for TW, for learn, for Mudasa, and for Hadi as well. Good evening, Hadi. Okay, so to give the slip to someone, or to give someone the slip, to escape from them, and miss out on for Patricia as well. Yes, escape is miss out on, definitely, Leffy, and Williams Donkor goes for miss out on as well. To evade, yes. Okay, he evaded arrest. This is like to escape. You get out of something that you don't want to do. Yeah, so I got out of playing football by telling the teacher that I was sick. Yeah, how do I get out of this meeting? And to get around, you normally get around a law or a difficulty or a problem. So you go around it without going right through. Thank you, Z. Get around to doing something means to procrastinate. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, but you get around a rule, or you get around an obligation. Yeah, or you get around somebody who's saying no. Yeah, to pull a sickie, that's to get out of something, very definitely. Here we have this phrase, to miss out on, is not to do something that you want to do, to miss out on an opportunity, to miss out on a party. To evade an issue, yes, I spend my life evading issues so I don't have to think about them. To evade responsibility, yes, to evade responsibility, to shirk responsibility, to avoid responsibility. I think you can definitely evade responsibility for learn. But it isn't just downtime and a chance to explore new interests that the particularly time poor are missing out on. Opportunities to improve life circumstance also fall by the road, wayside, verge, path, track, and I definitely made a video on this one. Unsolicited info from Vitali. To get around something, to circumvent, that's a really good one. And to infuse with and to infuse into. I guess my energy infused into them. I infused them with my energy. I think they both work the same. So this is really interesting. We've got road for count, Vitali for wayside, Lax for track, Leffy for wayside, Roland for fall by the wayside, Amin for wayside. And Vibes for wayside, and Patricia for wayside, and Hadi road, and Count says wayside, Manji says wayside. Okay, we've got a convergence of opinions now. Okay, so the way without the side is the path. Yeah. The verge is the verge of the road is the grass or the edge of the road, the side of the road. Yeah, so the wayside, verge is another synonym for wayside. Yeah, I parked on the verge of the road and got stuck in the mud. Okay, his speech infused the team with a desire to win. Okay, and he infused the team with a desire to win. Yes, very good. Thank you, Vitali. Yeah, he infused a desire to win into the team. So with something and into somebody. To infuse. An infusion is where you put leaves in hot water and you drink it. To fill with very slowly. Okay, Madassa goes for verge. A lot of street names end in way. Absolutely, Leffy. Yeah, there are lots and lots of roads that end in the word way. Many animal species are on the verge of extinction. Okay, path for Abdur. And convergence or divergence of opinion, that works quite well. The highway, very American lax. And Abdurrahim goes for path. Okay, the idiom is to fall by the wayside. I strongly recommend you look for and watch the video. If something falls by the wayside, you fail to continue to do it. So his objective to learn to play the piano fell by the wayside. on the verge of a breakdown. Notice the verge is the edge. Yeah, the grass verges to the road. I can see this British road sign, no parking on verges. Yeah, on the edge. To fall by the wayside, on the verge of a nervous breakdown, Patricia, definitely. Yeah, so to infuse his speech infused the desire to win, to put in, to fill with. It's my way or the highway. I love it. Do it the way I said, or leave. Yeah, my way or the highway. So to fall by the wayside. Yeah, normally during the beginning of the year, the students are very enthusiastic, but then as time goes on, they tend to fall by the wayside. It's to fail to pull something through. On the warpath, yeah, to be really angry. My boss is on the warpath. On the brink or on the verge, yeah, both are very good. So, parents who are also students are less likely than their childless fellows, mates, comrades, colleagues, peers to complete college, and individuals with children under the age of 13 spend significantly less time on education, with experts specifically pointing to time poverty as the primary cause. Okay, so we've had Vitali answering peers. So Vitali, what's the origin of this word peers? Abdesaim, okay, and count goes for peers. And Patricia, to track down, to try to find. Lax goes for peers, and Abdesalam goes for fellows. Hadi, search all the highways and byways. That's very good. And Leffy goes for peers. I'm still interested in the origin of this word peers. Yeah? They're childless fellows. To me, when I hear this word fellow, either it's a posh word for mate. I say they're my fellow. Or a fellow is a professor of a university. Piers Morgan. You're there again, Leffy. Okay, and if a teacher did not motivate students, they would fall on the wayside. It's better fall by the wayside, Roland, but okay. And Piers Morgan again for Leffy. Okay, Piers for Williams, for Roland, for Hadi. Right now the world is on the verge of running out of food security. Yes. Manji for Piers, Patricia for Piers. Hi there, Nick. Great to have you from Italy. Here, peer. Okay, no, Vitali. A peer is a lord. Fella. Okay, peers for vibes as well. Okay, let's see. Yes, they're students. Colleagues, so Asma, are at work. A fellow, a book by Shakespeare. Okay, I mean for fellows, update a noble. A noble. A peer is a lord. The House of Peers is the lords, and peers are lords. And in the House of Lords, which is the second administrative body in the UK, all of the peers have equal status, even though some are much more rich and much more powerful outside, but they all have equal status, and that's why we use this word peers, to get a peerage. Okay, so the peers, the peerage, to get a peerage. I love that, Patricia. Peers for Modassa, Leffy for Othello. Peer comes from the Latin per, which means equal. Okay, that's really good. I like that, Roland. That's very good indeed. And that's what all of the lords are equal. Per. Okay, so I didn't actually write the right answer in here. The right answer is peers. Very definitely peers. A peer, somebody of equal status, somebody in a similar position. Yeah? Point 2 is used like impute or to attribute. Yes, this points to. And Mohammed's Sal says peers as well. Okay, so do dimension and importance have the same meaning? Yes, in the right context, yes, Williams. So, academics also note that the time poor struggle to cut out the hours, slice out the hours, mould out the hours, carve out the hours needed to seek better employment, and often don't have the mental space to make good financial decisions. Okay, so, cut for count, Vitali for carve, 40 for carve, lax for cut, vibes for carves, manji for carve, comrades, yeah, Lukash, carve out, block off. Okay, yes, I see your sense now. Instead of blocking a road, but to reserve. And Williams goes for cut, Valentine for cut, Asthma for cut, and Princess for carve, Mudasa for cut. Every Duke and Earl, peer is here, and peer is here. That's very good. Okay, and thank you, comrades. Okay, and Hadi for cut out, Amin for carve out. So, let's see. And Patricia goes for cut as well. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all, it's not cut out. Because to cut out would be to stop using something, to stop doing it. Yeah, the motor of the car, the engine cut out. It stopped working. You should really cut out smoking. Yeah, we need to cut out this part. So is to get rid of. Yeah, and it's not to get rid of the hours. Yeah. Okay, and Nolan goes cut and Roman goes carve out the hour and Leffy for carve. To slice, we don't slice out the hours as well. A slice of meat. To mould means to make something in the right shape. But the idiom or the phrasal verb we're looking for is carve out. From My Fair Lady. Okay. I'm going to write that down because I don't think I got a video on carve out. Okay, to carve out is to find something with difficulty. Yeah? Point 2 means to be a sign of, to suggest the strong possibility of. Cut out carbon emissions. Absolutely, that's a good example, Mohammed. Okay, every Duke and Earl and Peer is here. So, My Fair Lady. Well, I actually like the book of this one. Okay, so to carve out a niche, particularly to make a space for yourself with difficulty. Yep. So to carve out is to form something for yourself, but with difficulty. So to carve, you carve a piece of wood or you carve a stone. So the statue of Michelangelo was of David was carved by Michelangelo. So Leffy, you need to have confidence in yourself. And comrade can either be with an comrade. Yes, you can say comrade as well. I would say comrade, but you can say comrade vibes, definitely. To carve out time, to make time for something. Okay. Cut something out from my budget. Exactly, Tina. Carve out, make time for something. That's perfect. Carving knives. To carve the roast beef. Yeah? Okay. To cut the meat, to carve. No, it's not with a schwa, it's comrade, lax. Nursery rhyme. Okay. And let's see where we've got to, because this thing's moved for me. Okay. The resultant economic poverty they experience creates even greater time poverty. This could be the length of time it takes to complete tasks if a household does not have reliable internet access. Time spent looking after children if you can't afford daycare, or the time that it takes to transit, commute, trip, shift if a person cannot afford to live in a major urban centre. To do an analysis of Williams. Okay, carving knives. Okay, and so we've got a landslide for commute. Okay, so commute for Vitali, for count. Carve his name on the trunk of a tree. I wouldn't carve his name out on the trunk of a tree. I guess that would work, Hadi. And commute for Quarenta, for Princess, for Valentine. What are those little faces called you carve into wood? I don't know. Okay, so commute for Aminak. Would you say to cut or to carve the turkey? Definitely carve the turkey, Nick. The turkey is roast. You'd to carve the meat. Yeah, it's very definitely carve. I guess you could say cut, but carve is a much better word, Nick. Okay, so Abdelasalam says transit. Camillo for commute, and so with Manji, Mudassa, Mohammed, Lax, Patricia, Hadi. Does it help to complete household tasks? Okay. Let's see, if you need to get somebody to come and do something, internet is your yellow pages. There are a million things that make your life easier with internet. Yeah, you could do the shopping within internet, for example. So, yes, it could help you to complete household tasks, GW. And carve the pumpkin at Halloween. Yes, very definitely. And Roland to commute. That's okay, Nick. No problem. They're called wood sprites. Sprites or spirits? Oh, yeah, wood spirits. Okay. Transit, transition, transmission. Transit to move. Transition, the movement from one state to another. Transmission, to send power or something from one place to another. Okay, so this one you definitely know. Commute. To commute is to go to work and come back every day. Yeah, the rush hour is full of commuters going to places and coming back. Hieroglyphs carved in stone, the Rosetta Stone. Yes, well, I hope my channel is a Rosetta Stone. Well, it's not a Rosetta Stone because it's nearly all monolingual. That's great, Pete. Okay, so to transit, to go from one place to another. But here they're talking about going to work and coming back. To trip. Well, trip is not normally a verb unless you trip over. Yeah, and to shift. To shift something, to pick it up and move it. Okay, so let's put the other one, the next one, and let's see, that was Williams. Transit. Okay, transit is in transit. Transit is movement. Transition, a change from one state to another. To transmit, to send something from one place to another. To transmit a message, to transmit information. Commute is to travel to work. Absolutely, Mudasa. Okay, and individuals then become trapped in a vicious, cruel, savage, evil, vile circle. Their low income makes them poor, but their lack of time also stops them from improving their economic circumstance. Okay, so we got a landslide for vicious. What's the opposite of a vicious circle? Okay, Count Beauty for vicious, for Vitali. for Valentine, for 40, for Roland, for Manji, for Lax, for Hadi, for Abdelessam, for Vibes Hair. I'm breaking up, Gov, I hope not. And Vicious for Lukash. Yeah. Okay, and for TW, LSD Trip, very definitely. And Amin K for Vicious, Mohammed for Vicious, Patricia for Vicious. Vicious, yes. So, Camilo, yes, definitely. Un círculo vicioso. Okay, but what's the opposite? What's the opposite of a vicious circle? Vicious for Nolan as well. So vicious, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. But you can have the opposite where things get better and better and better and better. A Ferris wheel, that's only at the fairground. Auspicious, near antonym I can think of. No, there's a very definite answer. Okay, Vitali's got it. Yes, virtuous. Definitely. So the opposite of a vicious circle is a virtuous circle. Yeah? Virtuous. Virtuous. Good. Yes, I've got spelt it right. Okay, so a virtuous circle. Very definitely. A vicious circle. So something happens which makes the situation worse, which makes something else happen which makes the situation worse, and things just get worse and worse and worse and worse. The opposite is a virtuous circle. Okay, so a gentle circle. I love all of these ideas. A cruel circle, no mudasa. It's a vicious circle. Yeah. So his self-confidence gets lower, so he eats more food, so he gets fatter. So his self-confidence gets worse, so he eats more food, and his confidence gets worse. A virtuous circle. From an economic perspective, time poverty manifests, exhibits, displays, reveals in lower productivity and eventually lower chances for advancement, says Tomic. This ultimately results in a wage gap. Count for reveals. Vicious attacks of the gutter press. A vicious dog, Patricia, definitely. So, reveals for counts, Vitali for manifests, vibes for manifests itself. Aminak for manifests, Lax for manifests, Manji for manifests, Abdes for manifests as well. So, let's look at this. Nolan for manifest and Lukash for manifest. Okay, I think reveals, if I put reveals itself, it might work. Let's see. We can definitely use itself with manifest, but it's not here. Exhibits itself, to exhibit, to be on display, displays itself, but, so... manifests for 40 for Mudasa, for learns thinking about exhibits, but exhibits needs a direct object, exhibits itself in lower productivity. And Tina for manifest, Roland for manifest, Mohammed for manifest, TW and Amin as well. So to manifest is the tangible result of something. So stress can manifest itself in different ways. For example, you could get a skin condition or an acid stomach because of stress. This is stress showing itself in a real thing. Okay, so Leffy, the manifest. A manifest is the list of the list of things that you have on board, or the list of people. Yeah. So I guess if you drive a truck, you need a manifest which says the things that you've got on board. I know that boats or ferries have to supply a manifest before they're allowed to sail. Manifests itself, yes, P, but notice the itself is not necessary. Yeah, it's quite often used, but it's not necessary. So, manifests. Yeah, okay, so something manifests, it shows itself, it's a symptom. So one of the manifestations of COVID was a loss of smell. Yeah, they give you a manifest, absolutely. Okay, yeah, something is manifest, something is obvious, is very clear. Yeah. The manifesto is the document that a political party issues before an election. If racism is for race, ageism is for age, what is it for religion? Zealousness, I don't know. Religious bias, I'm going to say Laxina. Yeah, religious bias. Okay, and closing the gap. The pandemic only amplified existing issues, with the average working day increasing by 48 minutes in the early phases of lockdown, and the proportion of unpaid work done by women multiplying as many working mothers conjured, fumbled, cheated, juggled jobs with homeschooling. So homeschooling, teaching your kids at home. What's my age? How old do you think I am, Jitendra? Okay. Ultimately is a synonym for eventually yes for learn. Okay, so Vitali goes for juggled, and so does Aminak and Valentin and Leffy and Count and Lukash and Hadi and Manji. Manifest, evince, evidence, make known. Thank you, Vitali. P. Patricia. Is manifested. Can you say that? Very definitely. Stress is manifested in various different symptoms. Definitely, Patricia. And 40 juggled, Ria for juggled, TW for juggled. Don't be judgmental, everyone is different. Okay. And Princess goes for conjured. You upset me. I can't say religionism, and you should be able to say religionism, Lax. You can probably invent it. If you use it enough, it'll end up in the dictionary. And juggled for Nolan, for Patricia, for Lax, for Mudasa, and for Saye. Okay, particularly to juggle. A juggler has various balls in the air. Yeah, you juggle 3 balls in the air, and we very often use this to juggle, is trying to make everything in your life fit. And here people are, the mothers are juggling, trying to make everything fit. Issues, Camillo, issues. Or I could say issues as well, Camillo. Okay, notice issues or issues. Both are valid. It's a really good question, Camillo. Okay, and Mudasa goes for conjured. And vibes and Amin. Thank you, Jitendra. That's very kind of you. Okay, so the answer here is definitely juggled. To conjure, a conjurer, a magician does magic. To conjure up a rabbit, to make something appear. To fumble is to drop something, is not to hold it properly. Yeah, so I threw the ball to him, but he fumbled it and it fell on the ground. They use this word with in American football. And then to cheat is to act in an unfair way. To juggle with swords, yes, to throw them in the air, or to juggle with fire, or things like that. Okay, so to conjure, to do a magic trick, but in this case to conjure up, to make something appear. No, to fumble, to be clumsy, to be all thumbs, to not be very agile. I am always fumbling things. Yeah? Okay, so to fumble, not to get everything, not to have good hand-eye coordination. Okay. I still like that question about issue and issue. That's very good, Camilo. Okay. Stress and depression rocketed among outstretched, high-stretched, extra-stretched, overstretched parents. There should be a bracket here. And in the US, labour market participation among women dropped to its lowest in 30 years, as mothers struggling with the demands of work and family finally quit. Okay, mind your P's and Q's. Talking about age is not comme il faut. Very good, Vitali. But notice in the East and in other cultures, asking your age is not a faux pas. But you see, you just deal with it gently. Issues. I think that issues is posh British. But you can say issues as well. Both are possible. Okay, to conjure up images of the opposite of vicious circles. Very good, Patricia. So we've got overstretched for Count, for Vitali, for Valentine, for Aminak, for Hadi. Yes, Riaz, says Leffy, it's posh. So what is the issue? Okay, and overstretched for Vibes, for Lukash. I was fumbling for what word to use. That's great, Abdelasalam. Okay, and Lax for overstretched, and Cuarenta, and Nolan, and Saye, and TW, and Roland, and Mudasa. So everybody's going for overstretched. Overstretched. Let's see. To outstretch. He outstretched his hand. To stretch your hand out. So he outstretched his hands. Yeah? It's to reach out. You don't go high stretched, and extra stretched doesn't exist as well. Most commonly though, outstretched is an adjective. I looked at his outstretched hand. His hand was outstretched, begging for money. Okay, issue with a soft C, issue is posh. Okay, very definitely. No, issue is how commoners say it. Yes, very good indeed. Okay, so we're going to have another one in a second. Okay, I quite like that. I quite like that issue. Okay, the pandemic has magnified time poverty by removing many support systems previously available for parents, and in some cases adding additional responsibility, such as grocery shopping for an old neighbour, senior neighbour, past it neighbour, elderly neighbour, says Irina Shalakieva from Clemson University. Yeah. Okay, so an old neighbour, a senior neighbour, a past it neighbour, an elderly neighbour. Issue and problem. You noted another meaning aspect, but not in British. Well, you could have a share issue as well. Okay, issue, children. Yeah, he had no issue. So we got elderly for Valentine, for Vitali, for Lax, for A40, for Count, for Lukash. Thank you very much. Anne, thank you. that reduces it to 2. Okay, big issue, please, big issue. The big issue, or the big issue, is a magazine that homeless people sell in the UK. So, Manji says elderly, and Julia Richmond, good evening, says elderly, and Aminak says elderly, and Roe for an elderly neighbour. So what's wrong with old And what's wrong with past it? Okay, Roland for elderly, Nolan, Hadi, Sayed, Mudassa and Patricia for elderly. Okay, senior. I know you can say a senior citizen, but here a senior neighbour. I think senior would be as in seniority, an important neighbour. Old fogey. An old fogey. Yes, let's see, if you say old, this is very negative, yeah? Don't call people old, call them elderly. And if somebody's past it, this is a phrase to say too old to do things. A past it neighbour sounds quite funny. I might use it for a friend of mine. Yeah, he's past it. Yeah, we use this phrase in English, past it. Yeah, this computer is past it. You really need to get a new one. It's just past doing the things that it needs to do. They're pejorative, absolutely. Old is pejorative, past it is very pejorative. And a senior neighbour, I wouldn't use it. As Vibe says, senior citizens, the collocation. A good sign to choose elderly. Yes, an elderly neighbour. It's become a euphemism. An is good sign to choose elderly. Yes. Yes, it can either be old or elderly. This one here, which didn't fit properly. Okay, yes it did. I just made it fit. Senior co-workers, senior management. Absolutely, Valentine. Elderly for the better choice. Elderly for Ria. Very, very definitely. Yeah, my elderly mother, not my old mother. My elderly parents. A has-been. That's a really good one, Patricia. I love it. Yeah, so he was, but notice has been, is no longer. Was once in time, but no longer is. So, these additional responsibilities fell primarily on the neck, shoulders of women. As a result, mothers were twice as likely as fathers to lose their employment, to put up, accommodate for a lack of childcare, whilst many women had to decrease their hours of work. Women of colour, women without a college degree, and low-income women were most impacted. I was going to say compacted. Past it, obsolete, computer. It's predicative. A past it computer. Very good vibes. So we've got shoulders for Vitali and Quarenta and Abdel Salam. Too many, says Laxina. Quarenta for likely, Laxina for likely and shoulders. Count for shoulders of likely accommodate. Laxina put up. Vitali goes likely accommodate. Abdel Salam goes for likely. Shoulders for row. Is accommodate transitive? To accommodate something. Yes, to accommodate. Yes, it's definitely transitive, Lax. Shoulders likely accommodate for Valentine. Shoulders for Sayeh. Manji for likely. Nolan for shoulders. Lax for accommodate. Abdel Salam for put up. Lukash for shoulders and likely. Aminak for shoulders likely accommodate. Roland for likely. Shoulders likely for Quarenta. Julia shoulders likely accommodate. Shoulders and likely accommodate for Camilo. Raya goes for shoulders and likely. Roland for accommodate. Patricia shoulders and likely. And Hadi shoulders likely put up. Okay, Nolan likely. Almenef for shoulders, possible and accommodate, and Amin for shoulders, and Mudassa for shoulders and likely. So, very definitely, a responsibility falls on somebody's shoulders. Yeah? On your shoulders. You've got big shoulders. And Sergelem for shoulders likely and accommodate. And transitive as in accommodate somebody culturally. Very good, thank you, Vitali. Is it both predicative or attributive? Past it. He's past it. A past it old man. That that old man is past it, a past it old man. I would definitely use it as predicative. Shoulders likely and accommodate for sayer, and Mudasa says put up, and Roland put up with to endure, very definitely. Okay, twice as possible, twice as likely. Yeah, likely means probable. Yeah, twice as probable. We're talking about probability, not possibility. And then to accommodate, very definitely. So to accommodate is to do something that somebody wants, to change a system, to make it suitable for them. Yeah, I'm very sorry, sir, we can't accommodate you, we can't fulfill your order. Huh. Okay, so put up, to tolerate. To put up for is to offer, put something up for sale. A bit rusty, out of touch, lacking in. Yeah. Okay, so I'm certain I can accommodate you. I can do what you ask. He was very accommodating. He tried to make everything to my liking, to the way that I wanted it. Okay, so to accommodate, yeah, to make something fit, to change things so that there's space for everything. Yeah, so to accommodate for lack of childcare, to make a space to change things round so that the lack of childcare was not a problem. Okay, so we're doing pretty well. I think we're pretty near the end of this one. Okay, so to accommodate, well, it's a shame that the restaurant couldn't accommodate you. Yeah, they couldn't give you what you needed, or they couldn't give you a table. Sharayevska worries that time poverty will only increase in future. As a society, we're constantly increasing our hopes, wishes, prospects, expectations for productivity and performance and engagement and responsibility as a parent. This is very good. So let's see. Okay, expectations for Count, for Valentine, for Abdelasalam, for Vibes, for Vitali, for Laxina. Vibes suddenly thinks about hopes. Hopes for. It could, but I'm not very happy with it. Lukash for expectations, and amenable to. Amenable to. Okay, to accommodate. I get it, Patricia. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Julia Richmond for expectations. Roland Manji, Hadi, Sai, Aminak, at 40. Clean sweep. Absolutely, Leffy. Everybody's gone for expectations. So expectations for TATIONS, yes, for our hopes for productivity. No, it's definitely our expectations. This is what we expect. You see, Leffy, when you say clean sweep, then you get one. Amenable, not to, not averse to. Expectations for Patricia as well. Thank you, Patricia. Okay, so yes, our hopes for productivity, our wishes for productivity. They prospect for gold. Okay, our prospects, but the prospects can be the future. What are your prospects of getting this job? Yeah, is it very likely? But expectations is what somebody else expects from you. Yeah, so my boss has very high expectations. Yeah, he demands very good things from me. Yeah, to have high expectations. And I have a feeling that this is either the last or the penultimate. Okay. Attending your lessons always meets my expectations, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, Madassa. So accommodate, to adjust to, absolutely, for learn. That's the idea of accommodate. To adjust to change things to make them fit. TW for expectations. To prospect is also a verb. Notice to prospect, but a prospect. Prospect, but a prospect. Okay, you raise your hopes. Very definitely, Vitali. Thank you. Learning English will increase your employment prospect. I would say prospects, Roland. Penultimate, maybe. So we praise all those who do it. Supermums who have it all are constantly presented in the media and on social media as a goal to drudge, grind, seek, be at pains, strive for, which even further normalizes a lack of support from government, employers and communities, putting the responsibility back on mothers. So count goes for strive. I think there's more than one left. 40. Valentine strive. Vitali strive for. Drag this last paragraph out for 7 minutes. I'd like to show you the new one. Lax goes for grind. Julia for strive. Lax changes to strive. High hopes and high expectations. I don't think there's probably a lot of difference, Camilla. I think maybe high expectations are more certain than high hopes. Yeah, but I would say they're probably the same. And Isaac goes for prospect. Great expectations and great anticlimaxes. That's Charles Dickens. Great expectations. Okay, and Manji for strive, vibes for strive, employment prospects, that's it, Roland. Prospectus. The prospectus is the document that somebody shows you that describes something. You could have the prospectus for a medicine. It's this leaflet that you have inside. Yeah, the prospectus for a school. It's like a document that says all of the things that it's got. It's like an informative document to help you make up your mind. And Aminac strive, Roland strive for, Lukash strive, Mudasa strive, 40 strive. We've taught seek, sought for, and how you don't like it. Yes, very good, Lax. And seek for, I don't like it. That's why it's there, Lax. And strive for Punya. You raise your hopes, but you increase your expectations. Okay, I get it, Vitali. Thank you. Sayes says seek. Patricia says strive. Hadi says strive. Meet expectations. And the phrasal verb to live up to expectations. Yes, they're the same for learn. Every government expects people to do its all and pay taxes. We expect every man to do his duty. Strive, strove, striven, but also strive, strived, strived. It's a schizophrenic one, Roland, and can go both ways. To adjust to adapt to. The circumstances. I think in that case it's the same, but to adjust and to adapt. These are both talking about changes. I would say they're the same for learn. TW goes for strive for, Minati for strive. Patricia, the daily grind. So what's this word drudge? The daily grind. Grind definitely doesn't fit. To be at pains to do something. I was at pains to make it clear that he was going to have to pay for this. Seek, I've done before. I don't like seek for. I would say a goal to seek without for, although Vitali says we can use for with it as well. To grind for. I guess you grinding hard work. Stroved. Okay. Seek and you shall not find. Okay, that's very good, Patricia. Drudgery. Drudgery is hard, boring, repetitive work. Yeah? So, definitely, to strive for. to strive for, to endeavour for. I like that, Isaac. Hello, Pepax, great to see you. Okay, Pepax is user. Okay, this is the one that didn't fit quite right. And then I go back up. Drudge, to do hard, uninteresting work. Lovely. Thank you, Vitali. Mudasa. I always strive to achieve a good level of understanding from your lessons. Thank you, Mudasa. She says, reducing the time poverty gap requires real change from both governments and employers, with clear lines, policies, orders, edicts, rulings needed to support mothers and primary caregivers. The government needs to create lines, policies, orders, edicts, rulings supporting parents, guaranteed paid vacation and parental leave, family leave that isn't seen as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, she says. He's not the imposter. Fake Pepax. I love it, Leffy. Hey, Alex. Great to see you. Okay, so menial work. Yes, menial work. Drudgery. Very definitely vibes. To forbear. To put up with. To stand. So, Abdelassam says policies. And Count says policies or rulings. Vitali for policies and Valentine for policies. I hear a lot of people saying irregular verbs with ed as well, very definitely. Manji for policies, Sayef for policies, Abdullah Sam for rulings, Aminak for policies, menial work. Thank you for the spelling correction, Vitali. And Minati for policies and Patricia for policies. Okay, let's see. Let's look at some of these. A ruling. A ruling is a decision. Normally a judge makes a ruling. You make a ruling in a court case. Yeah, you rule that something's fair or unfair. Rulings. And this, I think, would be judges, not governments. Yeah? Edicts. An edict is like a law or an order. And I guess it could fit as well, but it's not very good. Orders of governments and employers give order, but governments don't give orders. And clear lines. I think clear guidelines would work quite nicely, but not lines on their own. Honesty is the best policy, says Patricia. Left or right, edicts. But Leffy, with people like you, we need edicts because otherwise you're just not going to obey. Vibe says policies in both. And she's in the ruling position. Yeah, the judge ruled against you. The judge ruled in favour of you. Yeah? Okay, so definitely the answer is policies. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's probably a good point to stop. I think, yes, this is the very final one that's left of this article. So we can start the next one next time. So definitely policies was the previous one. Thanks for coming, Mudasa. And okay, well, I'm waiting for this last one to come up. It'll come up and it's reasonably easy. They don't give orders. What about COVID? But they don't obey them, do they? Look at Bojo. He's above the law. The second one is also policies, exactly, Minati. So, additional assistance should be provided for single parents, low-income families and families in rural communities. Employers must create, produce, manufacture, provoke, assemble an environment where employees can take care of their needs without fear of losing their job. Okay, tidings of COVID and joy. Edict, a law carved in stone. That's very good. Okay, so we have Valentine for create, Laxina for manufacture. And it's a pleasure having you, Vitali. Thank you for all your help as well. Create for Abdelassam. Abdissalam, goodbye Alex, and Julia for create, Lax for create, Count for create, Minati for create, Manji vibes, Vitali, Aminak, Saya, Lukash, Nolan, and Quarenta. So definitely, and for Patricia as well, well done. We were done and dusted. It's just this is the last one, you see, so that's why I decided to do it. So it's very definite. Create. And that really is it now. Create an environment. Absolutely. Create an environment is a very good collocation, Roland. So enough for today, and next time we will do one about why some people are compared to cheat at games, and acronyms for create, and for learn for create as well. Very definitely to create an environment. So thank you all for coming. You've been a brilliant group as always. Thank you. Take care of yourself, Count. Looking forward to the next one. Looking forward to having you, Vitali. You've been a wonderful group as always. Take care of yourselves, particularly you, Count. Okay, toodle pip, and thank you, Sayer. Thank you, Roland. It's been a pleasure having you all. Thank you, Manji. Thank you, Vibes. Thank you, Nolan. Thank you, Lukash. Thank you, Quarenta. For Learn, thank you. Thank you for Leffy, and for Julia, and GW, and Laxina, and Manisco, and Amin, and for Learn, Lukash, thank you. Thank you, Minati. Thank you, Nolan. Thank you, Manji. Thank you, all of them. Sergelen, thank you as well. And it's wonderful to have you. So, good night to you. And Sherwin, great to have you. You were listening in. That's really good. Take care of yourself, all of you. I'm going to turn off the speech, and I will leave the chat open for a little time. So